This is Sandy Brook and Sue Buxman with the Windsor-Severance Historical Society at the Windsor Healthcare Center, at the Windsor Columbine Healthcare on March 14th, 2018. And we're talking to Larry Jacoby of Jacoby Farms. We also have with us today Emily Wenger from the Windsor Now newspaper. So we have quite a number of questions for you, Larry. And the first one is, tell us your full name, your nickname, place of birth, date of birth, and your parents and siblings.
Well, my name is Larry James Jacoby, and I was born in Windsor. And what?
Your parents.
Oh, my parents' name is Jake and Pauline Jacoby.
And your siblings?
And my brother is Norman. That's all.
Okay. And then you married
Sharon Henkel.
and had how many children?
2, a boy and a girl.
Okay. And their names?
Scott and Kristen.
Okay. Do you remember when your family came to Windsor in this area?
I remember when my grandpa came.
Okay, can you tell us about that?
It was around, well, my dad was born over in Russia.
Do you know what colony?
It was on the other, gosh darn, I can't remember. What is that name? It's,
That's okay. You'll think of it.
yeah, okay.
Tonight when you're...
Tonight I'll think about it. Maybe I'll think about it later on. Well, anyway, they settled here in around 1910, somewhere in there. And my grandpa started working out there on that farm for the R.S. Dickey person that owned the farm.
Do you remember why they came to Windsor? How did they know about Windsor?
Well, see, that Stoll was here in Windsor, I guess, made it in Windsor before they came. And my grandpa was married to a Stoll, and so he sent them over here to Windsor.
And so you lived in that house all your life until you got married
Yeah,
on Jacoby Farm?
yeah, yeah.
So you had relatives living here, the Stolls lived here, and that's why they came?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And you moved there in 1910.
yeah.
And can you tell us what the property was like? What kind of buildings were in the yard then?
Well, you know, I wasn't born then, so the only thing, well, them are old buildings there. See, the R.S. Dickey had 2 farms there, and one was across the road to the north, and my grandpa farmed that one. That's when they first started farming. Now, I think he farmed the whole thing, and that's how he got started with the R.S. Dickey. And you know, when he came over here, they had some tractors. I don't know what kind of tractors they had. And my grandpa, he took the horse out there and started plowing the field and walking behind the horse. And they said that, they asked him that, why are you doing that? Or my cousin, she was there, and she asked, why are you doing that, walking behind a horse in a hot day? And my cousin's dad, my brother's, my dad's brother, said that that's the way he did it in Russia, and that's how he's going to do it here. So that's the way it was.
Can you tell us any more about the Dickeys? That's kind of a familiar name around Windsor. They must have owned a lot of property. Do you know much about them?
R.S. Dickey?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know them, because I was still a baby. But his daughter was named Gladys Dickey. And she went to CU for a nurse. She was a nurse. And when I was born, I was like real little, and she had to make a homemade incubator in my mom's house to keep me alive.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
How did she, do you know how she did that? Did
No,
they
I
tell
don't
you?
know, but that's what happened.
And what year were you born? We didn't.
44.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they have another business besides their farm?
I don't know for sure. They might have had, but I'm not sure. But
Do you know how many years it was before you bought the farm?
oh, I don't remember how many years that was.
But you owned it for many, many, many years.
Well, yeah, because seeing then Gladys, she lived in that one house where the big red barn is. And she got real old, so we had to take her to Monell Nursing Home, me and my dad. And later on, she passed away. But she was married to George Onstock, and he had a barber shop in town here. And them two lived out there, so.
Do you remember where the barber shop was?
Well, it was on the south side, kind of down there where that filling station is, on the south side of the street.
Down by 4th Street, down there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, where that, see, down in that, about right in there, he had the barber shop.
Right.
That's, everything's changed around here.
Yeah. But that was a barber shop for many years.
Yeah, see, and that's
Yeah.
where he was for a long time. Then he retired, and then,
But they never had any children.
They never did, no. And George died first, and then Gladys died
Okay.
after.
Was she always a nurse? Did she work as a nurse?
Well, she did. See, I know her when she was a little older, so,
Yeah, oh, okay.
yeah, so I don't know, but she might have not either. Towards the end, she was always out on the farm,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah.
We've been told that there's a historic halfway house on the
On the place?
property. Yeah.
Yeah,
What can you tell us about that?
well, I don't know. I know it's the building that was done on the outside, years ago it was done outside. And we kept, it was used for a storage building for us. And I think Gladys told me that was a halfway house that I remember, I think.
So when we say halfway house,
Yeah.
what does that mean?
Well, that's between the stagecoach come from Fort Collins and stopped there and then went to Greeley. And then from Greeley back, and that was that.
Would they get new horses there, or?
Well, I suppose they would, yeah. If it was a
Yeah.
halfway house, they'd have horses there ready to go. Yeah.
Or the Pony Express, did that go through there?
Well, no, I don't think so.
No? Okay.
Not that I know of.
And so what, you just used that for storage when
Yeah,
your family lived
yeah,
there?
that's what we used it for.
Did you also use the old barn when you lived there? That big
Well, the
barn?
old barn, yeah, we used the old barn to put, we used to take our beet digger apart on the tractor and we'd stick our beet equipment in that barn when we was harvesting beets, and then when we were done, we'd put it back in that barn.
How many acres were in the Jacoby farm?
Well, there's 200, yeah.
And what crops did you raise?
Well, sugar beets and hay and corn, and we raised pickles there one time when there was a pickle dock in Windsor.
Did that work out pretty well?
Yeah, it worked out pretty good. Them pickles, they were pretty easy they were real fast crop, Done pretty good on them.
Did you have trouble getting people to to pick them and work in the
No,
fields?
we had some people from Texas, and they come up in a big truck, and every year they'd come to our farm, and they'd pick pickles, they'd hoe our beets, and
Did they have a house to live on?
yeah, we had 3 houses for them to live on. We had 2 in one spot, and the other one was on another farm that we owned. And they were there every year. They'd come to them 2 houses, and that's where they stayed.
It was always the same ones?
Yeah,
They-
yeah,
they
yeah,
like-
and they had a big family too.
Yeah, they
And
liked
then-
working for you.
Yeah, and then we'd put the sprinkler out when we used the wells. You know, if it was real dry spring, we'd start the wells up, and we'd put a sprinkler out there, and every so often we'd call them guys to come and help us move the sprinkler. And here they come, you know, about 6 of them. They carried that. It didn't take too long to go through that whole field.
Mm.
Yeah.
So most of the time, did you use just regular irrigation from the pooter to
Yeah.
irrigate?
Yeah, we used some Lake Canal ditch. Yeah.
And what water system were you, like, was it the Eaton ditch or the
Well,
number 2?
it was up there at the Pooter. I'm not sure where, Lake Canal. Oh, it's coming out of the Pooter, yeah, from Fort Collins, and then it comes down our way.
So it's called Lake Canal?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I get kind of confused because our other farmer, we take the water out of the number 2 ditch at another place, and it's a different
Ditch.
different ditch.
So what was the best crop that you raised? What one was the easiest or the
Well,
your
the
favorite?
the best one, the easiest one was probably corn. But, you know, the best one was sugar beets. You know, that was good. You know, that was.
And did you feed cattle on your farm?
Yeah, we fed some cattle too.
And you used the corn, did you
Yeah,
chop it as
we-
silage or?
Yeah, we chopped silage, and we high moistured corn and put it in pits, and well, that was me and my brother, we were doing that. But in the old days, my dad and Dave Winograd were partners feeding cattle. And Dave had the liquor store in Windsor here. And they fed cattle for quite a while. And then Dave got out of it, and then my dad took everything over. I'll tell you a story about cattle and Dave Winograd. When I was young, they had some cattle down south of Windsor, and they were going to drive them up with horses to a stockyard up here by the railroad track. So I got in on that, and I rode a horse to drive them cattle right through town on Road 15 and up there to the stockyards.
Right on Main Street?
Well,
down Main
the
Street?
Main Street was going this way, but yeah,
Yeah.
it was the Main Street, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just drove cattle right through there, but then there was no town there either, dirt road. So that was,
What did people do when they came across you and those cattle moving up the road?
well, I don't know, I can't remember what them were the old days, and everybody, done things like that. And we probably weren't the only ones, that used that stockyard up there. There's
No.
plenty of other people that used it. So.
And then did you go down to Denver to the stockyards and
Oh
sell?
yeah, we did. One time we sold some cattle. Well, my dad did when I was still young, and I rode down in the truck with one of J.J. Schaefer's drivers. J.J. Schaefer. He would go down to Denver stockyards and unload them cattle. It was pretty neat driving in that big truck down the road. Yeah, that was when I was a kid.
You talked a little bit about you had wells on your farm.
Yeah, we just had 2 of them.
But the rest of the time you used ditches and
Yeah.
tubes. You were probably good at setting tubes.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. Yeah.
Do you have any stories about that? About irrigation or?
Oh, I don't know. I know one time when my son was kind of small, we were changing water on the cement ditch here, and my wife Sharon was on the other side, and I was on the other side, and she says, "Can you take him?" And I says, "Yeah, throw him over here."
Oh.
So I was grabbing, and she's throwing him over there, and I missed him. He fell down in the ditch in the water. So I had to get down in there and get him out.
And what did Sharon say to you?
Oh my God, I wouldn't want to repeat that.
So when you bought the farm, the well was already there?
Oh yeah, they were
Yeah.
there a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't have any idea how old the well might
They're
have been?
pretty old that I know of. I forgot, but they're pretty doggone old.
Are those wells still there?
No,
No, they're gone, huh?
they just closed them up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
you talked about raising cattle. Did you raise any other kinds
Well,
of
we
farm
had a
animals?
cow herd and we raised calves and we had 2 pastures, down on the other farm. We had put them down on the river, and we had another pasture there below where Safeway's at now. We had a pasture there, and we put some. And in the fall, where the Ptarmigan Golf Course is, that was all pasture at one time, and we rented that pasture from the neighbor, and that's where we put the cows in. And then when we got done, we had digging beets, we would turn the cows out on the corn stubble, and we windrowed the beets, and the tops would be laying in windrows, and that's what they'd eat through the winter, see. Yeah, and then they'd calve out. We had a spot there where it had a lot of trees there, and it was a nice place where they could calve out calves because they were out of the weather and stuff. Yeah.
So you spent a lot of winter nights and early mornings out with the calving operation?
Well, we did a little bit of it, yeah. We had to pull some calves, but not that many, We kind of, we didn't want to go out there and pull calves, all the time. So,
Did you have chickens on your farm?
oh yeah.
Did your mom sell eggs?
I don't remember if she sold eggs or not. But, I know a few things about the chickens. Well, I always had to clean the chicken house out. Now, that was my worst job on the farm, cleaning out the chicken house. And my mom used to butcher chickens, and we'd take the eggs and, we'd eat that way. And we butchered a steer every so often, and then we took it down to Yelp, and we had them make some meat for us. And then we made German sausage too.
Do you still have your German sausage recipe?
Oh, well.
You remember
No.
what you put in it?
Well, my dad, he had his deal there where he put it
he
so much.
probably didn't measure that
He
much.
didn't measure that, he just put that stuff in and start mixing it.
Then you take a little bit, fry it, and taste it, and
Yeah.
see whether it was
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we did.
And what other kinds of things did your mom make? Did she have a garden so that she could?
Yeah, we had a big garden out there. Yeah, well, she made a lot of German food, and
Tell us about the beet syrup.
Oh, the beet syrup,
What do you call it?
Latvadia.
Lavadi.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we made that too. We took a truckload of beets and dumped it in my yard, and then they had a big cooker underneath the shed, and then I'd start peeling the beets, and all the relatives got in on that because that's a lot of work. So we made beet syrup. And that's what we ate.
So they would slice the beets.
Yeah, yeah.
You peel them first?
Cook them. Well, yeah, you'd peel them and put them in a cooker and cook it.
And cook them for days.
Oh yeah, yeah, for days. Yeah.
And then it would get to be like molasses.
Yeah, yeah.
And was it the same color as molasses?
Yeah, yeah, it was.
So then tell us how you would eat it.
Well, I like to just put it in a bowl and put a little cream on it and get some bread and dunk it and eat it, and that's what's good.
That was the best, huh?
That was the best.
A lot of people put it on, like kuga.
Yeah, yeah, that's another recipe for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they put that on that too. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Did your mom grow blackberries?
No, not really. My dad done part of the garden stuff. He growed potatoes and he had a little corn, sweet corn, and lettuce and green beans, and I don't know how much stuff he had, but that's what we did though. But
Did they have any cherry trees or any?
no, well,
apple
they
trees?
had one cherry tree down there, but it was kind of old. Well, at that time you could eat cherries off of it when I was a kid, but right now you couldn't eat cherries off of it. They quit growing cherries.
Birds get them.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, yeah.
Did your mom can some of that food?
Oh yeah, yeah. That's what we did.
So you had canned food and you had chickens and
Yeah.
eggs and
And then we
you'd
had-
raise
Yeah.
your own beef.
And I know years ago they, in our garage where we kept the car, there was a pulley up there, you know, and I asked him, I says, what are you doing with that pulley up there? He said, we used to butcher hogs out here with that, you know, a long time ago. So,
You don't remember
I
that
don't
though?
remember that, you
Yeah.
know, that was probably when I was real little.
Do you have to help with the chicken butchering?
Yeah.
That used to be the thing I hated on the farm.
Oh, yeah.
That was not
Me-
fun, huh?
I'm not gonna say, but how that goes. I'll tell you one thing about a chicken. My dad's pickup was always parked in front of the chicken house. And one morning I went outside to start that pickup, and I turned the key and I heard block, 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 and feathers flew out the hood. So I shut the engine off and raised the hood up, and here there's chicken stuck in the fan. So I had to get him out of there. Yeah.
Did your mom make sauerkraut?
Yeah, she did. Yeah. Yeah, she had a brother that they'd go in and they'd make sauerkraut, all of them, and it was a family affair. They'd can it, you know, and put it away.
Would they make it in a big crock first and let it
Yeah.
ferment?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then they even had a big crock of watermelons.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my uncle had that.
They loved those watermelons.
And I'd always go and eat some of them, you know.
Did your dad grow those little watermelons for that?
Well, no, I think my uncle raised the watermelons, and then he put that all in crock and then divided that all up. We had some barrels there, and everybody took some watermelon. Yeah.
What was the favorite German food that your mom made? What did you like the very best?
Well, chicken noodle soup and butterballs.
Did you ever help her roll the butter balls?
Well, one time when I was little, you know, but I didn't do it all the time.
That was a skill we all learned.
Yeah.
What games did you play when you were a kid on the farm?
Oh, I don't know. We played basketball out there on the farm, and we got the neighbors out there. When I was a teenager, they'd all come and play basketball out there. Yeah.
Did you play basketball in high school?
No, I didn't. No. I was kind of into the horse business, so I was doing that, showing horses and stuff.
What kinds of things did you get in trouble for when you were young and on the farm?
Well, I don't know. Shoot.
You didn't get in trouble?
I'll just tell you one. When I was young, I had a collie dog, and his name was Rex. And that dog just stayed by me all the time. And one time my dad was coming, walking through the yard. Now, I'd done something wrong, I don't know what it was. And he whipped me on my butt, you know, a couple times. And I said, "Sig him, Rex, sig him." And he jumped up on my dad and grabbed his wrist, and I had to get him off. And my dad was so mad. He says, that goddamn dog, he says. That was so funny.
And you got whipped a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah. But that was funny. Yeah.
Who else lived and worked on the farm with you?
Well, we had some hard men that lived there. We had another house where we kept a full-time hired man.
Is that house still there?
No, that's not there.
Where were the cattle corrals? Did you have corrals?
Down there where King Supers is now.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we had some down on the other side of the river where we owned that farm, and we had some cattle corrals there too. We had one up by where I live. We had some in every place.
Did you have a milk cow? Did you
Oh,
milk?
my dad milked 5 cows,
5, okay.
and I had to milk them too. And I always had to clean the barn up after we got done. I don't know why my dad didn't clean the barn up. I had to clean the barn up.
That's what you were for.
Yeah.
So your mom made butter and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, made that lye soap.
Lye soap?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And she grind it up then
Yeah.
and use it for
Yeah,
For
Yeah.
laundry?
yeah.
Yeah, I think we all pretty much did that
Yep.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
So altogether, you farmed various farms. How many
Yeah.
acres did you farm together with all of them?
Oh, I think about 700 or 750, somewhere in there.
That's a lot of acres.
Yeah, keeps us busy, that's for sure. Yeah.
What kinds of things did your parents do for fun besides working on and doing all
Well,
those
they went on a
acres?
lot of vacations,
Did they?
and they played cards and stuff. Yeah.
Did your family make any improvements to the buildings or build any new buildings on the farm?
Well, yeah, that one shed, that old shed, we tore down and built a new one over the top of that, so.
The red one that's there now?
Yeah.
And then you said they put some kind of siding on the halfway house?
Yeah, but that was earlier. Well, we put in a lot of cement ditches too on the farm, so, yeah.
And when you irrigated, you used mostly tubes still in those days?
Mostly tubes and the sprinkler. We used that sprinkler, we had a sprinkling gun on it, and we took it down in the pastures and we'd sprinkle with grass and stuff with it. Yeah.
When you look back at the town, how has it changed
Oh,
since those days?
a lot. Yeah, I can't believe it.
Good changes?
Well, I don't know. It's probably gonna be good changes though, you know. It's a different world now than it was back then. Yeah.
And after you got married, did you continue to farm?
Yes.
So you did that your whole life, is
Yeah.
farming?
Yeah.
What businesses do you remember being located in Windsor when you were growing up?
Well, I remember the theater, the show. You know, we'd all go to the show on Saturday night, us kids.
Do you remember what movies?
Well, there was Elvis Presley and, I don't know, some of them old westerns and just anything, Tarzan, whatever, the movies. That was a pretty good show, you know, I have to tell you a story. Every so often the tape would unravel up there on the thing, you know, and he was running and he'd holler at us and say, "Hey boys, come up here and help me put this tape back on." So we'd go up there and put that tape on. He says, "Now we're ready to show the rest of the movie." See, he belonged to an old man and he couldn't do very much. So
Was that Mr. Stanger?
Stanger.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if Tom knows that or not. I don't
That's
know.
funny.
Yeah.
Do you remember how much a movie cost when you
Oh
were a
my
kid?
God, no, I don't know. I don't
Probably not very much, huh?
Not very much. I remember the barber shop was right there, you know, and well, there was some beer joints there too, but there was a pool hall on the other side of the street, and drugstores. Mr. Terry had that one on the south side, and Fraser had the other drugstore on the north side. Yeah.
When you were in school, did you still have to go buy your textbooks at Fraser's drugstore? Do you remember having
Geez,
to
I
do
don't
that?
remember
Don't
doing
remember
that. I don't remember doing that. Might have, but I can't remember.
When you were in school, did you belong to FFA or 4-H or anything?
I always belonged to FFA and 4-H, yeah.
And so you had horses?
Yeah.
Can you tell us some more about your horses?
Well, I was kind of interested in horses, and I was running barrels and stuff like that, and I rode in Little Britches rodeos, bareback broncs and stuff, and they used to have an FFA rodeo in Greeley here and I entered everything, the calf roping, the bull riding, the bareback bronc, everything. I won that boys barrel race, I remember that. And I think I won 4th in that bull riding, but I got bucked off on my bareback horse. Yeah. But that was the things I used to do, you know, and then later on we joined together with 2 other people and had a saddle club out here.
Is that the one by the Pooter?
Yeah, and that used to be called the Windsor Wranglers. And they didn't have no place to put it, you know. There was about 3 of us guys wanted to start that. And my dad said, well, we'll put it over there on that one spot on the farm, and I'll just charge you $1 a year. And that just took off like roses, you know. We had more people with horses coming. We had horse shows and Labor Day horse shows and stuff, but that's all gone now too. It's all history.
And the building that was out there is now the church at Boardwalk
That
Park?
building was originally the church in town, and the Saddle Club got that church. I don't know what they had to pay for it or not, or maybe it was given to them. I don't remember. But we took that out to the Saddle Club, and we had that for our meetings and stuff. And then when that all got dissolved, then the church went over to the historical church there, yeah. That church's been around, but it's been around a
Moved a
long
lot of
time.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you went to school in Windsor, what are some of your memories of school?
Oh, I don't know.
Like Park School, you went to Park School?
Oh yeah, I went to Park School. Yeah.
Do you have any memories of that?
Well, yeah, but I don't know if I want to tell anybody.
Oh, well. Do you remember caroling at Christmas in the hallway?
Yeah, and then they had that big auditorium upstairs, and that's where we'd have a Christmas program. And
We had a big choir up there.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was in one of them